Okay, I should be live. ExtremeDad should be joining shortly, doing dating advice with ExtremeDad. Got sick in chat. Just talking to ExtremeDad, seeing what's going on. Alright. So, are any of you familiar with ExtremeDad? Apparently, it would be better if he was here. But apparently, quite a while ago, he was part of a big scandal where he was accused of sexting a minor, and there was a very public cancellation of him. A lot of big streamers were talking about it and stuff, and he kept talking about it, and he got doxxed apparently. So a few months ago, Will and his channel made a really good documentary about it and went into detail, and cleared his name. So his name has been cleared, and he's still around. He's still ExtremeDad. I've set it up. He's getting his camera set up. We're getting the real deal. I have a link in the description to both of the ExtremeDaddyFestos, which go into detail about his cancellation and response to it, and going over the record and clearing his name. They're a pretty good watch. Does anybody have in chat any questions relating to dating? We can ask those for sure. I don't know what makes him so extreme. Well, I don't think you can argue at this point. He's pretty extreme, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to look at dating advice Reddit. I found a question here. Is my housemate flirting with me? I'm a 20-year-old female who lives in a house with 7 guys and 3 women. I'm the youngest in the house, with most of the people I live with being late 20s, early 30s. One of the guys in my house I find quite charming. I don't know how old he is, but he's definitely at least 7 years older than me. Anyways, we often have nice conversations together and have many similar interests regarding art and politics. He'll often tease me, calling me a weirdo in a playful way, and tease me about the men I hook up with and have over, which he only knows about because our other housemates will mention it and joke about it with me. He laughs a lot at my jokes. I don't think I'm that funny, and usually look towards me in a conversation if someone else is saying something funny. Anyways, I find him cool and attractive. I just don't know if I'm reading too much into this. Well, I would say that if you read the title, Is My Housemate Flirting With Me?, I would assume it's a guy asking about a woman, and my immediate gut reaction is probably not. She's not flirting with you. And then if you change the context to it being a woman, it's really interesting that now all of a sudden I'm feeling like, oh, he's probably is flirting with you. Plus the description makes it seem like this guy's into her. Still waiting on Extreme Dad. Extremely late dad. Women don't flirt. This is factual. Women do flirt. Where was the advice? What advice would you like regarding dating? Recently I had a conversation with my friend of mine named Eben. He told me he hates dating advice. I'm not so strong on it. I do agree that regarding dating advice, a lot of dating advice is very aimed at telling people how to be and not aimed at telling people to be themselves. But I think that regarding the mechanics of dating and just doing it correctly, I think there is a lot of advice you can give. Plus there's a lot of feedback you can give and reading a scenario and that kind of thing too. What do I do if my partner has decided she's non-binary and I'm not okay with it? I actually have a video in the works. I actually have it all edited. I'm just showing it to my friend to get his opinion on it before I post it. It's actually a video about just this. It's not someone I was dating for a long time. It's someone that I had been on 2 dates with. And they told me that they had started taking testosterone like a couple weeks prior to me meeting them. I think it's okay to not want that. But that's regarding the hormones. I think if your partner says that she's non-binary, that's just like word choice. That doesn't really change anything about them or their relationship to you. It shouldn't. If it does, then maybe it's important. But if it doesn't change anything, then I don't see why you should care about it. Okay, to teach us to recognize when a woman flirts. What does girl flirting look like? Girl flirting is exactly the same as man flirting. It should be, except a lot of women are like terrified of men or are wary of men, so they will learn to not be as overt. And as a man, that's kind of annoying, because then you kind of you feel like you have to mind read women and stuff. So you're right to say that, or you're right in your feeling that we do need people to tell us how to know if a woman's flirting with us, but I don't think that's right. So you know what? I think if you can't tell us she's flirting, just assume she isn't and it's her loss. Maybe she should do a better job at flirting if she wants you to know that she's flirting with you. You can start by not misgendering your partner, you monster. What if I'm straight? If you're straight, okay, so if your partner has decided they're non-binary but you're straight. Like I said, I really don't think it changes anything. I personally, I believe that gender is just a bunch of baloney. If you're attracted to this person, you like who they are and you like how they treat you and you like taking care of them in certain ways and they take care of you in certain ways and you have a good relationship and you have sex and you enjoy the ways that you have sex with them, changing the title of their name doesn't really do anything. What do I do if I make 95% of the income, but my partner complains often about having to do the chores around the house? How long have you been in a relationship with this person? Because I would say that's something that you need to negotiate early on, like, or as it happens. So you start going into a relationship with someone that makes way less money than you. You're like, okay, well, I need you to do this if I'm giving you this. Or, well, first of all, best situation is you don't make your partner dependent on you financially. If you are now paying for everything that all of your partner's living expenses, it puts you in a position where you have extremely high responsibility because you're basically in control of their life. That's why there are rules like common law marriage and shit, and that shit's all bullshit. We shouldn't need that because people shouldn't be in that position. People should be able to take care of themselves. So I would never want to date someone that became financially dependent on me. I would want them to get some kind of income and be able to pay for some of their stuff. I would be comfortable paying for, like, let's say that I was really rich and my partner could never afford to pay half of the rent. And it's just not like, I would be like, okay, well, forget about that, but everything else. Or just give me some for your share of the rent. We'll just say that you pay me 10% of the rent, but everything else, and I'm not paying for any of their stuff. That would be great. It's nice to do nice things for each other, but I would avoid that situation. If you started making more money, then, and you're already together, you're living together, you don't have to jump into a big house and start paying for a bunch of shit for her or him that I would try to keep it egalitarian. I have a friend who was dating a girl that was like a social worker or something, and she didn't make very much money at all. And what he did was he taught her how to code, and he got her a job that made nearly as much money as he did, and the relationship suddenly became egalitarian. Boots getting called out. Let's see, where's ExtremeDad here? Almost 15 minutes late. See if I can find some more questions on here. The world needs more social workers and less programmers. He did an evil thing. Maybe. The world does need more social workers. I think about that every time I go to therapy. I see the people working in the therapy building or whatever, and just like feel like they're all treated like shit and they don't make enough money. So yeah, you're right. One of the primary things I look for in a partner is someone who will engage in friendly competition to see who can be more professionally successful. Is this healthy? It could be. It's up to you. That sounds like it could be fine. Depends on what the ramifications are. Like, I don't know. It depends. Like, so if the stakes are that like you're gonna abuse each other if you're not as successful, then that's not great. But if it's just a friendly competition, that sounds fun. 6 says, that's what I'm saying. Where do people call in? If you want to call in, I'll let you call in. I just want to wait on Extreme Dad first though, but I'll message you on Discord a link to my Discord that I'm using. Here. Welcome to the Smeth Lab. What do I do if my partner prefers playing 10-year-old games to hanging out with me? That is a very common question, I think. I think a lot of people like end up with a lot of different interests in their partner, especially over time. I definitely would want to have space from my partner. I would if I enjoy playing 10-year-old games all the time, and I'd be like, well, I just want to play them. You can play them with me, or maybe you can't because they're single player, but it's what I want to do, and it's not because I don't want to spend time with you. But maybe it is the case that your partner doesn't want to spend time with you. But those are just because they want to play fucking video games or some shit doesn't mean that they don't want to call into you, or they don't want to hang out with you. Freudian slip because I'm talking to Sick right here in Discord. He says I should post it in chat. I'm a little bit hesitant to post. You know what? I will post it in chat. I'll post it in chat because I have to give people voice perms anyway too.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. It's ExtremeDad, everybody.
You don't use video?
Oh, here, I'll share my video.
I'll turn mine on as well.
All right.
I apologize.
Oh, it's fine.
I am classically late. I'm fashionably late to all my events, so don't feel too bad about it.
Oh, it's fine.
I apologize for that though. Here we go. And how about?
Oh, you're sideways.
Yeah, I'll adjust my Is it sideways?
Yep.
Hold on.
Remove. There you are. That works. That works. Hold on, I'm just getting you up here. Yeah.
I'll adjust my lighting too. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Hey, I remember I was talking to you like a long time ago on Emery's server, friend of the show, and he in his like voice chat, you were saying that you really think you could give good dating advice, and everyone's giving you shit or something, but
yeah, I don't know why nobody believes me when I say that, but it's like,
well, it's because of your specific controversy. It makes it
I don't
very.
think so. I think it's that there's this like belief that I'm somehow socially like inept or something. But actually, like in my real life, I'm actually a social butterfly.
You seem like it.
Believe it or not.
You said you went to prison once?
That is true. That's not normally what I lead with when I when I am being a social butterfly. But
Well, I was just thinking, like in my head, going to prison is like a place where it really behooves you to be a social butterfly, in my opinion. Maybe.
that's actually a really good point. I didn't even think about that. But you're right. I look really white, but I guess I am really white. What can I say?
Yeah.
No,
So
but you're totally right. It does behoove you to be a social butterfly in prison, and you certainly like are. The more you get along, the less like problems you'll have. I mean, but it's also a really social place. Like you wouldn't think so, but it's when you're like some of my best memories are in prison. Like I mean like being I mean that sounds crazy, but just
it does.
like there are nights that, when like the sun was setting and we're out on the pickleball court and like everybody all your boys are out there and like you guys are like hanging out playing pickleball and like just chilling and like you have a relative degree of freedom within this institution. So it's like, you can kind of do what you want, even though you can't like do whatever you want within the certain like context of the institution that you're in. There's some relative freedom. So, you're playing cards, you're pinochle. Like I learned to play pinochle on my last set, which was like a lot of fun. I lost so much money playing pinochle. Like I probably lost close to 10 grand just playing pinochle during the multiple year set that I was down. Um, but people were generous. I wrote to people on the streets. I had a listing on the internet where people could find me, and so random people would write into me, and then I would write them back, kind of like a dating website or something like that. And I would write to these people, and they would send me money. And so, some of them would at least enough to where I had a pretty good life, and the people around me, my boys, my friends, had a pretty good life too. And so when you have money, it certainly it's not the worst place,
So
but
you
it
had
depends on what
money
you make it. Yeah, so like
in prison.
I was able to have a TV. Me and my friends, we all had TVs like in our cell. We all had our own personal TV. I was able to like play pinochle and like play poker and like do things. I had a bunch of like different shoes. We were able to eat every night. We all maxed out our commissary lists every week, and so it was relatively like easy. I guess it's not good, but it's easier when you have money.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've talked to people who said the exact opposite. So I would guess that it depends on what prison you go to. Because I was talking to because I have like conflicting ideas of prison based on different things people told me. Like a guy that I worked with, he was when I brought up prison. Like I would talk about how I just have a strong feeling. This is a side tangent from what we're supposed to talk about, but I feel really passionately that most people deserve redemption, and I think that most people aren't like when you think of someone like clinically insane, like criminally insane, they're just born to be serial killers and shit. I think most people aren't, and I think that like most people can get better or improve. Like some
Yeah,
people are too far gone. But I said that to him, and he's told me about his time in prison, and he's like, no, like there are people who will just bash the side of your skull into like a concrete wall just because it's funny, and like he just
there
couldn't.
certainly are those people. I mean, I don't know if you can see it that well, but this scar, there you can kind of see
Yeah,
it. I got this scar in prison when somebody stabbed me with a piece of sheet metal. So there certainly are, and you know, uh, the reason for which he did so like is completely unknown, and it's like it's a really crazy event in my life that I have this scar from that like I'll never know what motivated the kid to do that,
that's
and like
crazy.
yeah, and it's something that like there are certainly people and the thing is like I talk about how like being a social butterfly helps, but there's no amount of social grace that could have prevented me from being in that situation, and it was just something that happened, and certainly there are people like that, and it's a place where, and there are career criminals as well. There are people who just they no crime, they are going to always be in trouble, and there's nothing you can really do for them. But the majority of people, 80%, I would say, are people who just had an unfortunate circumstance, or the system is set up in a certain way to, you know, railroad these people, and that if you really gave them another chance, they would never commit another crime. Or if you worked to rehabilitate them,
you're
they would be
making
better.
them worse. Often, I think you're probably making them worse.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, we got a question in chat. We got a question about dating in chat. I'm into a girl at work, and I think she likes me. How do I ask her out without it being weird if she says no? Okay, I have experience with this very recently. When I just quit my job like a month and a half ago, there was a girl that I thought I was just very attracted to. I would see her every day, but like while I was doing something. So she was also busy and I was busy, so we never really talked. It was just like brief glances, and she would smile at me, and so we had a friendly demeanor. But I was like, fuck it. Okay, I'm never gonna see her again, so I'll just ask her out. And it was of course it was gonna be embarrassing. Like, we don't even talk. I like had to like read her name tag to get her name. But I mean, I did it, and she turned me down because why would she have said yeah? I mean, but I shot my shot. But in your case, well, so the thing is, when you do this, there's no way to prevent it from being embarrassing. But you just have to live with it. It's fine. It's fine. If you're in a long-term like working situation, it might be better not to ask her out, because you don't want to be like stay working with somebody that like you can't control how she feels about you having asked her out, and then it makes her uncomfortable. Work makes things awkward, right? What do you have to say?
I think that it depends. I mean, you have to have a certain like barometer, I guess, of whether or not a girl is into you like that. Especially in a work situation where you're going to risk permanently making things awkward between the two of you. Like, she has to be the person who turned you down, and you're going to be bitter about it if she does. So you're like putting her in this.
You have to not.
Well, you're putting her in this position, this like weird position where you don't know. She doesn't know how you're going to react, so she kind of has to like gauge how she responds. So the thing is like you've got to make sure that you know the answer before you ask the question. So it's like,
I don't agree with that.
I think so.
The way I feel is you can't know. If you knew the answer, you wouldn't have to ask.
You can know the answer. You can know the answer before you have to ask. That's for certain.
If I know like if I know the answer before I have to ask, we're already making out. You know, like you don't even have to ask in that case. But
well, and that's the thing is that if you have to ask, you shouldn't. And if you like don't know the answer, then like you already know the answer. Like, it's like the situation, if she was into you, she would make it known. Like, if she wanted you to ask her out, you would know. And it's like, especially if you're throwing signs towards her, especially like asking someone out is a huge step. Like, you're essentially, this is like escalating a situation to like, this is like going up to like a dude and like being like, fight me, basically. This is like the girl equivalent of like escalating the situation to violence. You've created a conflict now, basically. So it's like you're putting the situation to like, now she has to say for sure yes or no, whereas opposed to like there's other things you could do in the meantime where it's not as serious as asking somebody out, where you can kind of get a gauge as to whether or not she would even be open to something like that, or whether or not like she's even like in the market or
playing the game. I disagree, but I don't think that's not valid. But personally, my philosophy is, okay. So like I said, if I know that it's a workplace situation and it might potentially make things awkward long term, then I'm gonna play my cards a lot more carefully in that specifics. But in general, I think asking someone out is just like, you just have to be prepared to embarrass the shit out of yourself and just walk away and just the important thing is don't embarrass them, embarrass yourself.
Or alternatively, for a more successful setup, you could embarrass neither of you and kind of when I think about like the girls that I've dated in my life, like the serious like actual relationships that I've had, I don't think that I've like asked any of them out in the wild. I mean, like, that's just not how real relationships form. When I think about like the most serious relationship that I've ever been in, um, it just kind of happened naturally. It's not something that like we like talked about or like, you know, that I like put her on the spot and was like, "Hey, do you want to go out with me?" Totally like cold calling her. And I just don't think that that's a very good recipe for success. I think that you have to kind of invite that in. You can't really like just make it so by like asking her for it.
The way I
It's like
see it,
something like,
the way I see asking out, it's like so you don't usually just say, "Do you want to go out with me?" Like it's usually something else. But what you're trying to do when you do that step is you're telling someone, "I want to get to know you better." So a lot of times it's gonna have your number, or do you want to go get a coffee, like someone said in chat. Um, and when you give that invitation, you're telling them, "I want to know you more. I'm interested in you, and I want to get to know you more." Um, and it can happen naturally. Like you can just try to get to know someone more naturally. But sometimes, like you don't. I think the asking someone out move happens when you're not gonna just naturally have the opportunity to get to know someone. So you're just like, okay, you seem cool. I want to get to know you, and this isn't gonna happen any other way. So you want to go get a coffee, or do you want to get my number or
I
something?
guess
So
like, are we talking about like, hey, do you want to hang out sometime? Or are we talking about like, hey, do you want to like be dating like boyfriend and girlfriend?
no,
Like,
no, 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 not that. That happens. I've never had that talk. It just happens for me.
okay, well,
But
I
I
guess
can
I was
imagine it
thinking more
happens.
like, if you're saying like, do you want to go and like, do you want to go out sometime? Like, do you want to like go do something? Like, yeah, you can totally like ask that in a very non-confrontational way. You just have to be like cool about it, obviously, and you have to like do it in a way that isn't like that doesn't, like I said, put the situation, make it too serious or like put her on the spot. You just want to do it kind of naturally or like in a situation that, and you always want to give her an out. Like you want to have a situation where she can like easily say no, or that she has like some sort of out where she's not like putting you down or like where she's not like making it awkward.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
that's when I said embarrass yourself. If you have the opt that for me, like a lot of things that you're saying, I just say in a very different way. But when I say it's better, like if you have the option to embarrass yourself or embarrass them, you make it so that you have that burden. So if she says no, it's not her like her oh shit I said no. It's like haha you like it's you just live with it and get embarrassed so she doesn't have to. If you're gonna make that step, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's worth a shot, I guess. I mean, it all depends on what you're comfortable with, and it all depends on how she's responding to other little tips and or little like things that you're putting out there, little like lines that you're throwing out, little like you know, like smiles and waves and little fucking hints that you're giving her that
Okay,
you're
if
into
someone
her.
asks a
Like,
question, someone asks a question related to that. What body language can I use to let someone know I want them? I don't like
yeah.
this. I think I personally, I'll let you answer, but I personally believe that you should be very honest about your intentions at all times, if you
I
can
mean,
help
like,
it.
isn't that being honest about your intentions?
I guess some body language is real obvious, but I mean, it depends. Like,
Well, like what are your intentions like that you need to be obvious about when you're like you're intending to see if she's into you so you can see if she would be down to go out. That's your intentions that you're being honest about by like waving at her or smiling at her or being like, "Hey, like just like talking to her before you say anything like serious, just like having a chit chat with her and seeing what she's like and how she responds to you." Isn't that being honest with your intentions?
I don't know. I don't think it's as honest.
What are your intentions that you're not
Okay.
being honest about?
Um, let's say that I don't get much opportunity to talk to someone, but I see them every day, and it's just I want to get to know you more. So giving them a look, it doesn't exactly communicate that. I mean, uh, it's really most
It all
people get this
depends on
shit wrong.
It all depends on if you're hot or not. Like, are you hot? Because if you're
I think
hot,
so.
there's a whole different set of rules that apply to you. If you're not hot, then you have to like deal with like, I mean, there's the only crime we talked about going to prison, but the only real crime in this world is being ugly. So we have to. I'm telling you, that's the only real. There's nobody is treated worse than an ugly person.
Attractiveness privilege is absolutely a thing, but I don't think you need. I don't like that kind of dating advice. I want it to just get. I just like the universe.
I'm just saying that there's different rules that apply to different people. So it's like if you like are like, because you can be like not great looking but have a good personality and be dripped out and be like likable. You can like have like you can be funny and be attractive. Like you can be, but if you have none of those things going for you, and you're like trying to like get with this girl because you're attracted to her, then you have to understand that like that's not going to work. But if you know that like, hey, I can like be desirable, like girls desire me, or I like can at least work what I've got, then you like are able to move into the next step and start like throwing some body language around, or start like cracking some jokes, or start like flaunting whatever it is that you do.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And then,
it's okay to be especially for men, it's okay to be sexy. Like when we think about like women like wearing a short skirt or something, it's like, oh, she like maybe she wants to be sexy, and it's okay to want to be sexy. You know what I mean? Like,
or funny, or like or like have a like really warm personality that like invites a bunch of like, when I think about it, like I don't know what it was exactly that like I had going for me when I was like younger, but when I think about it now, it's like I really wouldn't have any sort of success with girls like if they didn't just come up to me, right? Like naturally. Like it's not like I go out and seek out like opportunities for girls. I don't think I've like approached women in the wild in a long time, right? For the most part, they come up and talk to me, or like something happens where like I'm somehow introduced to them, and that's kind of like my thing, right? And like it works for me. It's very like easy for me to
sounds a very feminine way to do it.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of success in the red pill like flirt game, like this like idea of like being, I watch some of these streams with like some of these guys, and I look at like playing with fire and their like different like setups and strategies, and I don't think you're gonna see a lot of success with that. Maybe like there are some girls that are just dead inside, that like you could just throw anything at them and it's gonna work. But I mean,
have you ever used Tinder?
Yeah.
For me on Tinder, I think that you definitely have to flirt on Tinder. You have to kind of give something out. You have to shoot a shot. Someone says no shot. I don't know what he's talking about, but we got a question. We got a question here in chat. There's this new girl that I've been seeing. It's starting to get a little heavy, and I've had a problem before. But I'm really worried I won't be able to perform. How do I get over that? Do you mean like get a boner? And I don't that no, like I've had that problem too. But I've had to learn why. For me, like I talked about this with someone else on a different stream, but I used to not be able to get hard if like a woman wasn't able to like define what boundaries she had, and if she was like not
the
giving
Mr.
me,
Girl approach, huh?
Yeah, well, I just in that situation, I just can't get hard. Like I just like they if they're confused, my dick is confused. It's like a perfect barometer. Like so, I learned that, and then that helped me inform my decisions of who I engage with and how I engage with them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the Mr. Girl approach, like, but I mean, that works for some people. For me, it's like, Blue Chew. You just go, use my promo code, go to BlueChew. I'm just kidding, I don't have one, but I do recommend the product. I certainly use it, and yeah, I just never have a problem with it after that. I mean, it's like, if
So you used it once?
No, I like have a subscription. I use it every time.
You
Like
have it every
anytime that
time?
I'm gonna like, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna like
Yeah.
go and hook up with a chick, they send you a couple of pills every month. You just take them when you have a situation, And
Yeah.
for me, it's been pretty impressive the results that I can. No, but before that, it's like I would be like on drugs or drunk and like just like completely unable to like actually do anything, and obviously that's going to be awkward and annoying, especially
I
for
don't
girls.
like
You
it.
don't want
I
to.
don't like it when women expect you to get hard. It's like I
Well,
don't I
they
don't
tend to do that.
I know they
They
do.
tend to
I know they do, but I
expect
don't
you to get
accept
hard.
it. I don't accept it. I think that women should like drop that. Like if first of all they take it very personally, like it's something that they did wrong or something. It's like that's not always the case. Sometimes it's just like you're like drunk or I don't know whatever that like maybe something's going on in your life or maybe you just haven't got to know each other well enough, so it's just you feel a little weird or like a little bit uncomfortable because like it like yeah like it's not like I personally when I'm having sex, all right, and it's getting hot and heavy, there's this stereotype about men or maybe you were like this but I'm not, where it's like you click and then you're in beast mode, you're in beast sex mode, and it's like for me it's not like I'm a beast now. It's just like you have to get me there a little bit too. Just like women need foreplay, I need to get there too. How do you feel? You can laugh at me if I don't care. Can't hear you. Yeah, someone else agreed with the meat barometer idea. Looks like Extreme Dad's having some technical issues. Um, Someone said, "How do I convince an ethnic girl that I'm not a racist guy?" He'll probably be back. Okay, someone said, "How do I convince an ethnic girl that I'm not a racist guy?" Because she already found my Twitter. Oh, because she found your Twitter. Hello? What's up?
I apologize.
That's fine.
My stream cut out there for a second.
Yeah, was it Discord crash?
Yeah,
Yeah, that happens.
had to reset it real quick. But anyway, no, I mean it all depends. I mean, like a lot of this stuff is hit and miss, but it's certainly you're certainly going to have a lot more success with girls that like you, and girls are very good at indicating that they like you if they do. And I mean, you should know relatively like if you're successful with women or if you're not. And if you're not, maybe it's better to start with like an app or something like that, somewhere where you can like, get a little bit of talk going before you have to introduce yourself in person or like risk embarrassing yourself.
I personally think that we have such different philosophy on this. I personally think that you like if you're on a dating app and you're just texting back and forth, I think that if some dudes will do that for like a month and a half, and they'll just like have like a pen pal that they just text back and forth.
You only have to meet up quickly.
Exactly. You have to, because all of that is bullshit. Like whenever you're writing about yourself like that, you're editorializing everything about yourself is so bullshit. You have to meet face to face to fucking get to know each other.
Yeah.
Sick. Did you want to call in if you're still listening? I'll give you a voice permit. Here. You can hop in, Sick, if you want and ask a question. Hold on,
I was gonna say that we should have Will call in, but it looks like he's busy in his own channel.
Will? Oh, he's mad at me.
I know. That's why I wanted him to call in. I was ready to negotiate the feud between the two of you.
Oh, God.
Some strong words. He came out with some strong words on Twitter. I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm gonna DM him and tell him that I'm ready to negotiate the feud between the two of you.
I'm not really interested in that.
Come on, you guys are just gonna have beef?
Yeah, I don't really want to have beef on stream.
All right, your call. It's your stream.
Oh, it looks like Sick can't. You told me you wanted to, but he can't.
That's fine.
All right.
But we should definitely what happened between you and Will? You should explain that a little bit.
Why do you want me to explain that?
I'm just saying, like, I don't know if you know that me and Will have a little bit of a background.
I know.
Yeah, so I'm just curious. I mean,
okay, so wait, this guy really needs. Okay, fine. I don't know. I don't think I like being put in this position where I have to.
It's okay. Listen, we don't have to talk about it. I was just saying that, like, it's an option. We could go over it.
I don't want to be a drama streamer.
No, it's not drama. It's just like clearly you guys had a falling out, and I'm just curious as to what that was about. Like,
I
mean,
know beef is how you get views, but I don't want to. I mean, I'm
it's
fine.
like,
I'm fine doing what you're doing, ExtremeDad, where you want to mediate. I'm actually happy in that role, but I don't want to be one of the people in the beef, So
like, I'm just saying that, like, what was it that went down between the two of you that like caused you this like falling out?
I'm not.
Like,
Gonna
what
talk
was
about
it?
I'm not going to talk about it. I just don't want to.
You said you like to set boundaries. This is like you're trying to set a boundary right now, but I'm saying like let's engage with it. Let's like the thing is like what like you guys like got in a fight or what? It was about Mr. Girl Stream.
I don't want to talk about it.
Why? What happened that you don't want to talk about it? What was it that like? Because the thing is like I'm really on your side. If anything, if
I talk about it, I'm gonna have to say something that's going to make Will have to talk about it. And then if he has to talk about it, then I'm going to have to talk about it. And I don't want to talk about it at all. So the more I talk about it, the more I'm going to have to talk about it.
But the thing is like I'm on your side, if anything. Because I know Will can be a little bit...
No. Okay. Yeah, I know you're baiting, but you know you're baiting too.
I mean, it's just... I mean, he can be a little bit much. I know that. I know he can be a bit much.
He made a really great video about you.
A really great video about me?
The first one is especially good. The second one's pretty good.
Well, but, we didn't see eye to eye on that exactly, but I mean, it's like the problem with Will is he wants.
No, I don't want to have. No. I do not want to talk shit about Will. I just do not.
I do. I want to talk shit.
I know you do, but I don't. I really don't.
All right, keep going.
Okay. Does anybody
let me ask Let me see if Ben's online. I know that he wanted to call in, but
Hey, Ben.
it's just like I think that oh, Will's not on. Will's not busy in his Discord server anymore. We could ask him, but I just think that it's like an interesting. I think that people want to see it. I'm not watching your stream. Are you live on Twitch?
I'm on YouTube.
Oh, I'm not watching your stream, but I'm sure that people want to see the beef between you and Will and want to know what went down.
No,
between
they're
the two of
telling me
you.
to set boundaries.
Yeah,
All right.
but like boundaries that are like reasonable.
And Cygnus wants to call in, but I don't.
All right, good.
I don't
Yeah, let's
trust
call in.
Cygnus. I don't trust Cygnus.
You gotta trust him. He's the only.
Why do I
person you
have
got
to-
Right now.
You know, but I don't want to trust him.
Go ahead.
I think he is funny and incredibly smart, but I don't trust him. Okay, I have more questions to do, though. First of all,
Why should callers take my advice? Because I'm actually, that's a great question. It depends on what you're looking for. Like if you want people who like, that's a really good question. Why should callers take my advice? Because you'll see success. Because like the things that I tell you will result in better outcomes for you. And because like if you do what I say, it will result in a better version of you in the long run.
one of the
And
things
people
you
don't
said
think
was to
that.
be hot.
Yeah, that's great advice.
To be hot.
Well, yeah, be hot. Isn't that like good advice? What do you mean?
What should you do if your significant other who makes 90%? Okay, this is kind of related to a question I got I think before you came in. What should you do if your significant other who makes 95% of the money in the relationship keeps undermining you in public and in front of your friends?
Well, you obviously have to take the Mr. Girl approach. You have to set boundaries. You have to be responsible for your own self-interest, right? You can't expect her to like worry about how you look in public, right? You have to like, what do you mean by undermines you? And if she makes most of the money, she makes most of the rules. Like you can't like be the man, quote unquote, in the relationship if you don't make the money. You have to play to your strengths. That's what me and my homie always say. We play to our strengths, right? So like, I know if I'm in a relationship, right? Like I don't have a job. I do have a job, but it's not like a traditional job that like most people have. Like when in my last relationship, and still to this day, like my ex like has to fucking pay a lot of my bills sometimes because I just like, and I understand that in that relationship I have to fucking do something for her that is like not, I have to let her kind of be the boss. I have to let her make the rules. I have to let her set the boundaries of the situation, even though I'm uncomfortable with it. If I'm like in public, I have to let her set the boundaries whilst maintaining my own comfortability, you know?
Yeah, I would say that, well, I wouldn't just say that flat. I think that if you have to understand what deal you're making. It's better if you can be upfront about it, and it's like, okay, I'm paying the bills. I want you to do the housework. When it comes to undermining you in front of your friends and stuff, I don't think that you should have to, that in particular just sounds like you shouldn't be allowed to pay someone to abuse them.
No, but you're not paying them to abuse them. You're taking issue with something that she's doing. It's not like she's abusing you. You're just taking issue with it, right?
The thing he's saying is she's undermining him in front of his friends.
Yeah, so like he has an issue with something that she's doing. It's not like he's abusing him.
I think being undermined in front of your friends is abuse.
I think it's not. See, and that's where like we differ.
Yeah,
because
we're gonna
like
differ
it's
a lot.
not,
That's all right.
it's not abuse if you are undermined in front of your friends. It's abuse if you're hit in front of your friends. If you're like abused in front of your friends, you being uncomfortable with something, you not liking the situation, you getting upset is not abuse. That's just you taking issue with something.
Yeah, I think that emotional abuse and like ridiculing you in front of your friends, I think that's legitimate. But what I was gonna say though is, um, barring for me that's just unacceptable. But with what you were saying, I think that when someone's paying your bills and stuff, you kind of have an agreement, and you're gonna have to do things. And you're in their life. You're living in their world when they're paying for everything, and so you have to do your end of the bargain. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're with somebody who would just wants to be a pay pig, but that's not usually the case for a man usually. But I think it should always be the case that it should be egalitarian. And if you're getting that kind of deal and you don't like it, then the solution would be to get a job. So, but it sounds like you're okay with the deal that you have, and that's fine. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and it's not as much as that I'm okay with it as it is just like difficult for me to have any other situation. I mean, like obviously, certain certain issues related to employment arise, and like it's just one of those things that like if I had another situation, if I could otherwise handle things, I would. But because I can't, I deal with what I've got, right? And you just have to like understand where you're at. That's like what I was talking about with the attractiveness thing. Like you have to know if you're attractive or not. Like you have to know, you have to play to your strengths. So like for me, because I still like provide a certain amount of like emotional support and like different, I provide different, if you will, like creature comforts, different things I provide to my ex, right? And she provides me with certain things in return. We both play to our strengths. Where she has a job, she has a really good job, she makes money, I don't. And so she like, recently my car broke down and she like had to pay to fix it. And it's just like, I couldn't afford it. She knew I needed a vehicle. And so like she paid for it, and it's like,
that's very nice of her.
It is very, very nice of her, and it's like, and in return, I make sure that I,
that's also weird though. That's weird to be in that position where like, did she tell you, like, in return for this, you're gonna have to do this, or it's just like she pays for it, and it's like she looks at you like, now what are you gonna do for me? Is that?
No, it's like there's a lot of this stuff is unspoken. I mean, that's the reason why we're talking about it now. It's not clear cut. The relationship dynamics between human beings, especially these days, is very very fragile, and it's something that could easily be taken like for granted. You could not see clearly how things are cut, but it's certainly fragile, and you have to navigate it with care, or you'll end up being alone and unhappy.
I'm not a fan of the unspoken stuff that you're talking about. In my philosophy, you got to make it all spoken.
But that makes people uncomfortable. You don't want, if I texted my ex and I said, hey, you paid for my car, what do I owe you in return?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Oh, no, that's...
But that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the dynamic.
When she pays for your car, like, at that point, it's like... Well, if for me, if I was in that position, I'd be like, okay, like, are you sure you want to pay for my car? Like,
yeah,
so what is going on here? Yes.
Yeah, are you going to ask for that? straight up. You're gonna be like, "What is going on? What are your pain? What am I doing for you that
Yes.
is making you do this?"
Are you sure you want to pay for this because I can't pay you back, or do you expect anything from me, or do you genuinely just want to help me? And I would make sure I know that for sure, because not knowing that puts you in a very weird position where you could be, taken advantage of for a long time.
I think you're putting her in a weird position by forcing the issue.
If she wants to keep me on a string and get whatever she wants from me because she spends money on me, I would just say, no thanks, don't spend the money on me.
If that's what's going on. I mean, trust me, I've been in situations like that, and if that's happening, and if you're okay with it. But I agree that you should let Cygnus call in.
Cygnus, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to ask about? All right. I think I do disagree. I think that your whole philosophy is incredibly conflict avoidant, and I think that to be conflict avoidant is the opposite. It's the opposite of intimacy.
No. Girls hate conflict. They do. They hate it, and they're conflict avoidant, like in everything, because they know they don't want conflict in their situations. They want things. They would rather it just be blown over.
Cygnus wants to ask about my statement regarding Lav being this girl's daughter.
Yes, I'm here for it. Let's do it.
You just want the drama.
It sounds interesting. Tell us about this statement regarding do you think that Lav Loon being introduced to Mr. Girl's relationship is a good idea, dating wise?
Okay, I will talk about this. Okay. I think that I personally I think that the relationship that he's developed with her is incredibly high risk. I think that he's taking it seriously, and I think that he's not going to hurt her, but he's putting himself in a position where if he lets her down, that would be really bad for her, and it would undermine everything he stands for too. For him to make this stance,
what does he stand for?
Because so what he did he had that call with her, and he told her that he would be there for her for 2 years and love her for 2 years, and he was making a direct reference to the thing the Dr. K thing. So in that state, he made the stakes real high by doing that, and if now he cannot let her down, as in I think he's taken steps to avoid there being like a dual relationship. So he doesn't want to be talking about her too much on stream and stuff. And I think that is he can't be having a like streamer relationship with her while he's doing this parental type of relationship where he's just there for her like this. I think it's a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and this is something I think most people would fuck up. And I think that he might not fuck it up, but I would be wary of doing this just willy-nilly. I think it's a very serious thing. And until he fucks it up, I have a great deal of respect for him for doing it. If he does fuck it up, though, that would be awful.
Wait, you have a great deal of respect for him for doing what?
For trying to help somebody like that.
Like what?
So, for instance, you have your ex who's like paying for your shit, right? But what he's doing is emotional.
One way to put it.
Like,
no, what he's doing is attempting to have sex with her.
I don't think so. But if you're right, and if that comes out or that happens, That would be really fucked up. Like, but I just don't see
Wait.
that. That's not what I think
Wait,
is
you
happening.
think that he's like not trying to have sex? What do you mean? This
I
is
don't
like
think he's
after?
I don't think he's trying to have sex with her.
Why?
Wait,
why would you not? Why would you say that?
Six says that I owe Destiny
I can-
$15. What exactly? I thought the bet was that if when the article is written, then and Mr. Girl has no evidence. I thought the bet was that I said if he does not have evidence, he will take back his accusations completely without evidence. And accusations of sexual abuse specifically. I think he'll still talk about like the streamer relationship dynamic with the orbiter stuff, but if he has no evidence of sexual abuse, I believe he won't say that that he'll take back the claim that Destiny is sexually abusing people. So that I think that was the bet. So I think I have to wait until that comes out.
Okay, this is like a little bit. Okay, and it depends on how you define sexual abuse, right? But
maybe, but I just think if he has no I just think if he has no evidence, he'll take it back. I think he will. You don't agree? You think he won't?
Well, no, because it's that like he's going to define abuse as leading them on and like acting interested in them, having sex with them, and then dumping them. He's gonna say that was abuse. And you like are going to be able to agree or disagree, but that like that's what it's gonna come down to. And I just think that like it's the thing is that if you think that they're not motivated by sex, you're just wrong.
I just maybe we disagree. You think I'm a moron, but we'll see.
Well, I don't
because
see how you can like.
If you are right, then I am very stupid. And
why
naive.
wouldn't it be motivated by sex?
I think that okay. So,
like, why would Mr. Girl not want to have sex with her?
Because he has a girlfriend.
So what about Stardust?
What about Stardust? He didn't want to have sex with her either.
Yeah, he did. Wasn't there like a whole thing where like
no.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. I just took it as I thought that I was picking up some sexual attention there.
No.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what the whole.
I think I'll try to explain what I think about what he's trying to do. So the reason I think he wants to do this and be her father, it's basically like a father dynamic because he wants to help her and give her a lot of support, and he wants nothing in return. And like so it's just a one way. I'm older, wiser, and more powerful than you, and I just want to help you, and I want nothing in return. That's something most people don't do, and most people who would claim to do that would be abusive. So why would he want that? That's what you are asking me. Why would he want to do that? And that's a good question. And I think I have an answer. I think I have an answer that can explain how this happened chronologically, to where he's in this position where he wants to help her like that. Okay, so she has her own notoriety from her OnlyFans and her TikTok or whatever, but she goes on his show, on his Mr. Girl hotline as a fan, and he insults her, and he tells her that she's like manipulative or something, and he calls her out, and then she starts getting shit for it too. People are now talking shit to her on different places. She eventually does some weird thing regarding like she like sent like pictures of herself when she was like younger on some website to see like what men would think, and they said attractive, and she's like, oh, and then that made her that made Mr. Girl uncomfortable, so he banned her from his server. She starts, because she had some type of prior relationship with Destiny, I was able to network in a way, and with her also notoriety from OnlyFans and TikTok, was able to network in a way where she was able to start streaming and going on these high profile streams pretty easily somehow. And then she starts becoming the him setting her forth in this unfavorable light. Now she starts becoming the bad guy, and she does go very aggressive at this point in time, and she's like talking shit to a lot of people, and she's not doing herself any favors. But I don't think that it was healthy for her to be doing that, and I think she would agree that wasn't a good thing for her overall. And I think he, Mr. Girl, felt very responsible for that and putting her into that, and he also related to her. And during the time he was talking about the orbiter dynamics and stuff, he watched it play out with her, and I think that what he said himself, Mr. Girl said, is that informed his understanding of the situation and made him reflect on how he feels within the orbiter dynamics. Right or wrong, that's what he said about himself, and that's how he's described it. And that created a certain type of compassion and attachment that he had for her, and also he felt a certain responsibility. And I think that he genuinely could not bear to see her being treated like that, and he decided that he wants to be there for her.
You think that he wants nothing in return?
I think the thing he wants in return is just to know that she's okay. And that might be naive of me, and if I'm proven wrong, right? I mean, I agree, because the first thing I said is it's a high risk relationship type dynamic. He is putting himself in a role where if he lets her down,
or nothing, right?
Yeah, it would be very bad for him to let her down. She's putting a lot of trust in him, and so, yeah. But
and he's doing this for no reason.
Because he cares. Right?
He cares. He cares.
We'll know.
He cares about something.
We'll know if he ends up taking advantage of her in some way, then we'll know. But I don't think he is.
So you have an individual who is sexually promiscuous, who is who he knows has had sex with Destiny.
I think they didn't have sex.
Right.
Okay, well, I don't want to just... I more so wanted to talk about... Okay, continue. I don't want to... I think you're fine. You're fine. You're not very good at talking about dating, but you're fine. Just continue.
Well, I think that this is talking about dating. Like, he's in a relationship, right? And he's engaging in this high risk, no reward relationship with another individual, and he's doing so in the eyes of the public and his girlfriend, who's now involved in quote unquote supporting him. So what do you think their dynamic is to allow for these types of high risk, no reward dynamics with other girls who are sexually promiscuous, posting nudes on the internet, generally not someone that you're going to want?
Doesn't matter who it is.
It does.
I don't think it does. Like I said, I think that he's trying to help her because he cares, and I could be wrong about that, but that I believe that. And
trying to help her with what?
Her life. Like she was like going through. She was incredibly unhappy with what was happening.
I'm sorry.
In her
Have
life.
you looked at Mr. Girl's life right now? Is he really in a position to be helping anyone?
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not.
Mr. Girl is the last person that I would go to for help on anything. But I also was the first person to say fuck you to him publicly. I am on the record as the first person to denounce
your
him,
badge of honor, the first Mr. Girl fucker.
Yeah, I just I told him in the 2-hour Mr. Girl hate, but but that's just me. I just think I think that he's a liar. I think that he's a manipulator, and I've seen that firsthand. And I just think that this idea that he's trying to help her in this high risk situation for nothing in return is not only naive, it's stupid. It's a stupid, and it makes no sense.
It is stupid.
And it's just like, there's no reason for him to do that, as you've already admitted.
Right.
And so it's not happening. That's not what's going on. It's motivated because he wants to have sex with her.
I don't think so. I think that you're projecting here.
Oh, me and Lav are not. Like, okay. I'm not, like, I don't want to contribute to the drama and just the hate that, like, is sent towards Lav. So I'm, like, intentionally not commenting on, like, her directly. Because I think that it's, like, she gets enough of it. She certainly doesn't need me to sit here talking shit. Okay? But we're certainly, just because, like, I'm not going to, like, add to the amount of negativity sent our way, I'm certainly not, like, projecting. We're not, like, pals by any means.
All right.
I'm just saying that, like, I'm not.
I got another question for you. What do I do if my longtime partner? Yeah, I saw. He's a fan of you. What do I do if my longtime partner tells me they are into DDLG and they want me to participate? I'm not interested, but want to make them happy. I personally have participated in kinks that my partners had that I wasn't interested in, but I could stomach. That didn't make me too unhappy. It was just me doing it for them. I would say it depends on how willing you are to actually do it. Maybe you're not interested, but maybe
it depends on what. It depends on what it means. Like, what are you saying, like, that they want to do? Like, certainly boundaries are important here. Like, are we talking about, like they want somebody who, like, is less on a relationship that's less sexual or more, like, comforting and support? Like, but it all depends on what they mean by DDLG. I don't really, like, have a totally firm grasp on what exactly that means. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure.
But only in like a somewhat, like, joking manner, I think people
like what you mentioned, like I feel like it's like sometimes it's like a whole relationship dynamic, like, or I don't know if it's like just a sex thing or yeah, I don't think it would be. I wouldn't ever want to just engage in, like, that whole dynamic just to make someone happy. But, like, if it was just like a role play thing during sex and, like, I wasn't into it, but they were, I mean, as long as it didn't, like, make me like there's certain things that I won't do, but just role playing, I don't fucking whatever.
And I think it all depends on, like, what they're asking of me and, like, whether or not, like, I'm going to be, like, for me personally, it's like I'm not as, like, when it comes to role play and stuff like that, like, if I my cringe factors, like, my cringe radar goes off, and I can't keep it up if that's going to be the case. So it just depends. Like, if you need, like, somebody who's going to support you rather than fuck you, like, sure, count me in. But if you need me to, like, pretend to be somebody that I'm not, I might tap out on that one.
Yeah. How about I got a good question from Cygnus. How do I tell a partner that I think their dog is hotter than them?
Straight up, keep it 100 with them.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, check it out, bitch. You lacking.
Yeah. Is your dog single?
That's the only way you handle something like that, straight up.
Do you
the
have
worst
any
date
tips?
that I've ever been on.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I skipped one. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna ask you what he just said. So
Yeah, the worst date that I've ever been on. I've been on a few bad ones. Um, One really sticks out to me though. Um, a girl that I had met on Tinder, very sexual, like very forward. Um, Within like the first night, she like gave me her Snapchat and she was sending me like snaps of her fingering herself. Like we're talking like very um upfront about what she wanted. We went out like 2 days later. I took her out to this like place where they had a bunch of like food carts and stuff, and it was like kind of cool. Like it was like there were a lot of people. I always like to do something that like giving them an out. Like so, it was something where like both took separate vehicles. We met at this place that was like in public, and she like there were people around, and then also like she could very easily just like go if she wanted to, right?
right.
Um, and everything was chill. We like laughing, having fun, and like so we end up being like, yeah, let's go somewhere. And so we go, we drive, we take my car, we leave her car there. We take my car and we drive looking for some place to buy alcohol. And it's super late at night by this point, and like we finally find a spot. We get some alcohol, and we drive when we go to this hotel, right? And like I pay for the room. It was like $150 or something. I pay for the room. We park my car, and like she like goes a little bit ahead of me, and like I'm getting the alcohol out of the car, and something like we're walking up to the room. I asked her to, oh, that's what it was. I left the key to the hotel room in the car. We both walked up to the room, and I didn't have the key. And I asked her, I was like, hey, can you hold the alcohol really quick? I'm going to run back and get it. And something about that she didn't like, I guess. And she got like super upset, and she was like, just take me home. Just take me home. And made me like, we had to go get back in the car, and then she had me take her to her house rather than where her car was. And so it was like a little bit of an extra drive, and the whole way it was just like silent. My radio was broken, so we were just like riding in silence the entire way. And I
That's
was just
awful.
like, what did I do? And she just was like, just take me home. And I was like, okay. And we never talked again. It was super awkward.
That sucks.
And obviously I had this hotel room where I just went and drank by myself the entire night.
That
So
sucks even more. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
it
that's
wasn't
worse than my
fantastic.
worst. That's worse than my worst date. I have a funny worst date.
Go ahead,
So
lighten the
so
mood.
so we were going to, and we actually were friends afterwards. We like hung out like a year or two later, and I met new women through her. It was good, but we were gonna go. We were gonna go kayaking, and I had a kayak. I just bought it, and I love kayaking. First time I ever had my own, and I was like, well, I got a kayak. Well, why don't we try using it? So there's like this
Pretty
like
serious first date.
yeah.
Like,
I've got a lot of pretty
go-
serious first dates, but I completely agree that it's better to ask to go to like a public place and stuff first. But it's just, I mean, I guess I'm just hot, but I guess it works out for me that I end up not having to do that all the time. But
play to your strengths.
yeah, well, I can come up with interesting, fun things to do, and sometimes they're not always the best first date ideas. But anyway, so I only have one kayak and two people. So we drive to the like park where there's like like the lake that's like got like a bunch of streams, and we're gonna kayak through it. And we get the kayak out, and we're carrying it, and we went over to the water, except the place where the water was, the ground was like elevated like 7 feet above the water, so we couldn't like drop it in and like get into the water at all. Nope. Um, are you here?
Right. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So yeah, we couldn't get into the water, so we ended up walking with holding the kayak. We ended up walking like 5 miles while holding the kayak, just trying to find a place to get down into the water. We found a place where it was only like the path was only elevated above the water like 4 feet, so we kind of just put it down. We're like, fuck it, we'll get in here. And I'd never done two people on one kayak before. So I got in and it was like, okay, how are we gonna do this? She's like, I'll get in first, and I got in, and she's just like, okay, well, I'll sit on you, and she sit on my lap. And remember, her like ass was like in my face. She was like doing it on purpose to be like sexy. She put her like ass in my face, and she was like sitting down, and then she got on my lap, and then immediately the kayak immediately tips over. And we have to like scramble and get out of the water and like drag the kayak out. And my iPhone like broke, and it was like leased, so I had to pay for a whole fucking iPhone because of that. And I just like, brought her home. But yeah, that was the whole date. It's pretty awful, but I mean, it wasn't as sad as one you'd said, so it was just stupid.
I mean, it's definitely like something you want to be. See, like you definitely want to be like in a more comfortable situation with somebody before you're spilling out into the water together on a kayak, breaking your phone. You know, just like it's a second. That's a second date thing.
Actually, I think this actually was a second date. I think we had met up and just hung out one time, and then like this is someone that I ended up going on a date with. I think like one time, and then like a year later another time, and then like 4 years later we ended up like hanging out more. So I think it actually was technically a second date.
Maybe a little bit better. What does it mean when someone apologizes for rejecting you 5 years after the fact? Do you think he's trying to rekindle something or randomly apologizing? Definitely trying to rekindle something. And there's like, it dawns on you way after the fact that somebody or something was into you, or that a situation was like good and that you fucked it up. It's like, you know, I remember I had this girl that I also met off Tinder. Her name was Tammy, right? And we like hooked up. She was like just stunning. I mean, it was like, I would always tell her like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." It was just like, it would just like literally blow me away how pretty this girl was. And we would hang out all the time. I'd go and pick her up. I'd bring her to my house. We'd like do things together. And I never once thought like, hey, I should take this girl more seriously, or like I should make this, like I should like see if she wants like to be more than just this casual like friends with benefits essentially. And you know, was somebody who took really good care of me and would have been a really good partner. But I didn't realize and I didn't realize how into me she was until long after, like, you know, we had broken things off, and I could tell that, like in hindsight, she was really by it, you know. And if I had the opportunity today, like I would totally apologize and try to rekindle it. So, in my personal opinion, like the only reason you would do that, the only reason you would reach out to someone or apologize or try to make amends, is if you were interested in building something now. I don't think there's any reason to do it randomly.
Yeah, well, it also depends. You're probably right a lot of the time, but depends what your relationship was prior and what they're apologizing for. But like I can imagine someone who was like an alcoholic who like is like going around and like I did this to you, that happens. I had like a middle school bully like reach out to me and apologize for bullying me in middle school. So that happens, but I'm guessing
it's a
that you
little
had
bit
a
different.
sexual relationship, yeah.
Oh, I guess I immediately assumed that it was sexual. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
But if you
I
had
didn't think
sex
about it.
and then that happens, yeah, maybe. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
If it's like,
do you have any exes?
well, they said
Do
rekindle.
you have any?
They
Do you
said
have,
they said,
do you have any
go
exes
ahead.
that you would that you've done something you feel bad about and you would tell them if you could? Do you know you just? I could imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, basically all of them. But like, I wouldn't. The thing is that it would be so awkward and weird to reach out to them that I would have to be motivated by something.
So if it feels weird, that means that you didn't want them to apologize for that. To me, that's what I'm hearing. If it feels weird to you, you didn't want them to apologize to you, which says something.
I mean, it's like there's some reason for it. I just think that it's most likely that they're at least trying to rekindle something, or they at least want to have sex with you, or they are feeling. There's certainly, without knowing more about the situation, it's certainly not random. I would say that with 100% certainty, that it's not random.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're probably testing the waters to see if you would to see if you'd be injured. I don't know. It's hard to say without knowing them, obviously, but it's certainly not random, and I would just be aware of any sort of like further escalation of the situation
Yeah, ride it, feel it out, feel it
or
out.
further like indications.
You know what? Just fucking. You know what? This is where me and Extreme Dad are just totally different. But you know what I say? Just fucking confront them. Be like, listen, what do you fucking want? Are you trying to flirt with me now? Or are you like, why are you doing this? Or tell me why you're doing this because I don't know and it's confusing me. Just fucking say it and ask them, and then you'll fucking learn.
Yeah, see, that's where we are different. I think that it's never a good idea to confront somebody with something so like ambiguous, because you're going to definitely risk embarrassing yourself, and it's not. No, this is where Mr. Girl has poisoned all of you. Like he's all about the boundaries and all this other stuff, but that's not a good way of doing things. A lot of these things are unspoken. A lot of this stuff is just heard, and that's really the better way to go about it. Yeah, I would agree. This guy wants you on the back burner. Yeah, yeah, possible. Exactly. That's exactly what I would say.
It's probably likely.
Definitely.
And maybe it's not, though. Maybe it's not, but it seems like it, especially considering how you feel about it, if it feels weird for you.
Well,
right. Maybe like one more question, if anybody has one more.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for about an hour and a half now.
Definitely.
Okay. Have you ever sucked a dick, Extreme Dad?
No, I have not. In my life, it's funny because I actually I'm a phone sex worker, like, as my job. So like, and most of the guys that I talk to are men, but I've never once in my life had a gay experience. Like, I've never done anything with a guy. I've never been like tempted to. I have like no attraction, and in all my time working as a phone sex worker and talking to men, I don't think I've had one drop of blood in my penis. Like, it's just like, men to me are so disgusting. Like, they're literally so vile, and just like I have none interest in engaging with them sexually. I have no problem with people who do. Obviously, if that's your thing. Go for it.
But you do that, you do the phone sex. You're fine with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say that all through prison, I wrote mostly to men, and like obviously I'm a phone sex worker now, and the people have been incredibly generous to me, and I'm very grateful for that. So I have no problem with it, but it's just not for me personally.
I have once. It was a trans woman, and it
Ooh.
made me feel.
Wait, does that count?
It was a dick.
Oh, I guess that's a good point. That was the question. Have you ever sucked a dick?
Yeah.
But does trans dick count? I'm pretty sure they were asking like, have you ever been gay? Like the
No,
like
I
the
was just
layman.
my random. It was I just came up with the question, so. But
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Sorry. Then I guess you can add any rules that you want. Tell us about your trans dick sucking experience. How was that?
I just gave it like 1 or 2 sucks, and I wasn't really into it, and I got uncomfortable. It wasn't into it because the person weirded me out, and like they were just like talking about it in a really weird way, and it made me uncomfortable. So
Yeah, they. Yeah, I I did really
they
like this
said
trans girl
they
once, but it
said
never.
girl they said the
Right.
term girl goo. They said it's not cum, it's girl goo, and they were kept like saying stuff like that, and I was just like,
Naturally.
it is a dick, okay, and I'll suck it, but I don't want you to like, it's just making me uncomfortable when you're doing this. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they have a point.
They have a point.
They have a point. Yeah. I mean, what do you expect, you know? At that point, it is girl goo.
I guess.
I'm sorry. You know,
I guess, but
this is the reality we all have to learn to accept. You know,
if
this
you
is
want
the
that,
future.
if you want that smeth head, you're gonna have to not call it girl goo. That's my rule.
Listen, Smith, this is the future. You're gonna have to get with the times, bro. With that, I'll let you go.
All right. Nice talking to you.
All right, my man. Have a good day
You too.
or night.
Yep. All right. Nice seeing you guys. I don't have another stream planned, but I am currently in the last steps of editing a video, and it should be up soon. It is a video titled, what am I calling it? Testosterone Tinder Date. And that it should be up soon. It's a pretty cool video, I think. It's got some good shots. All right. See you all later.